into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios discussing everything American Horror Story. I'm your host for the evening, David Schifilliti, joined by the beautiful Pegah Rad.
Hi, everyone.
Marielou Mandl.
Hello.
And James Dumont,
Hello.
the man himself.
are
We
you?
are talking tonight, Season 4, Episode 11, Magical Thinking. And before we get into it, we are going to start with James. So lovely to have you
I'm
here.
in the
Thank
hot
you for
seat.
joining us. You are in the hot seat.
And I'm still alive.
And you're still alive!
That's right.
You play Foster this
Yes.
season, and Season 3 you played Dr. Morrison.
That's correct. The obstetrician for Sarah Paulson's character, yes. She can have try to have a baby regular, but you can't do it with Coven. You need some You can't do that. I was like, wait, you can't have a baby regular. You need some witchcraft, something.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's Coven.
And so that's what you suggested,
So
right?
yeah, we're gonna try the
Clearly.
regular, and if it doesn't work out, maybe perhaps you can mix a little something, some snakes and things can come out. So yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Oh, I remember that episode very well. Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Well, they did this thing called
creepy.
they had this fish. It was called the fishbowl camera, and there's this one shot where it's this long shot, and it's like low to the ground, and it's really almost like a fishbowl scenario where it's like her and me, and it kind of pulls in. It was really quite fun. And then the whipping, we do a lot of whip pans in the show. So like they'd whip around to him and whip around to me, and then they went back and forth between my friend Jim was doing the other doctor where she's talking about plastic surgery.
Right.
So they were doing whip pans, which was really
Which are kind of challenging. Like I've
Oh,
shot
no.
with that, and if you don't hit the person exactly, it's like, oh, we've got to start all over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were doing a lot of whip pans.
A
so
lot
it
of
was
whip
like
pans.
back and forth and back and forth. Then the fishbowl shot. So there's like a lot of, those episodes are really. Alfonso was one of the directors, and so there was a great style to that show, and that particular season too. And then this season it's even more interesting. The directors are like they run the gamut.
Well, do you find that the style of Season 3 compared to Season 4 completely different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the directors, like if I look at Howie Deutsch and Anthony Hemingway, who directed some of the episodes I did of Treme, almost all my episodes of Treme. There's these directors that kind of bring their kind of style of thing. And Lonnie, who directs a lot of Banshee, directed the last episode I did, which was 409. And so that one was more like we talked about, like character driven, where Chickless is like almost hanging himself and things like.
Right.
So there's more there's more times where I think directors have this great, or if there's time, if they make their days, they have these opportunities to kind of put a little bit of their kind of style and flavor into the gumbo of the American Horror Story. But this season, I think the diversity of the directors. I think Alfonso did the first episode, and so there was some continuity from Season 3 coming over to Season 4 in terms of his
good.
style. Yeah,
good for
and
the
then
audience.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah.
And I think they also think is each of the series regulars too. I think there's always this, like, they know who their characters are, but there's new things that they're discovering too. But a director kind of comes in and brings a fresh energy and kind of, oh well, what are we gonna do this week? Like I had ideas about things. So there's this beautiful collaborative kind of process. If there's time, that's the bigger issue we always kind of face, is that we have Louisiana weather. It was very
Muggy.
It was really muggy and hot when we started the beginning of the season, and Kathy Bates is like, oh my God, had a whole tent just designated just for cold air, because it was just very hot in the beard, and it's just not easy, and you're in full wool clothes.
Well,
I love
the time period.
Yeah, I love the time period. I love the suits and everything, but then you're like, wait, it's wool and it's 94 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Nothing could be worse.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. So we had those challenges, and then you're trying to do your character, and 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 Evan's got the hands to deal with, and he can't pick up food, So, everybody had particular challenges this season that, we had the weather and then you have these, lovely directors that come in and bring, fresh energy to it. So it kind of counters all the environmental aspects, and we're in an area that was just like kind of muddy, and there were real alligators in that lake, and there's like bugs all the time. Wow. So I mean, you're really getting a sense that when we felt that we were there, is we're all part of the freak show. I mean, once you're on that in the tents and you're going around, and you're driving around, the Ferris wheel's all there, and you're kind of like, oh no, we're gonna be here for like 16, 18 hours. I mean, you felt like you're part of the freak show. So, there is that's a great testament to Ryan and keeping things kind of real and true and building that whole kind of community there. Where people, we were there for a long, long, long time. So I think people really get a feeling like this is they are part of the freak show. We're not actors in a show, anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you've been on 2 seasons, Coven and now this. Yeah. Did the set change at all from season to season? Was it clockwork?
Well, there's a beautiful facility in downtown New Orleans that is like all green and amazing. So most of the inner scenes that you see, like for Coven and things like that, we shot around New Orleans. There's this really creepy place that they did a lot of shooting in season 3, which was like this, like it was the Navy had it for a while, but then it became like a boys' orphanage, and then it became like this kind of like, so there's ghosts, and like that place was like beyond, like you could just do a movie just in that. It's creepy. So all those scenes that I had in season 3 with Coven in the doctor's office is in this like bricked facility that has like the crepe myrtle going from the trees, and like you go through there and you're like, no, there's some stuff happened.
Something went down here.
You know what I mean? Like some children were abused here, or like there's like a mental. There was something. Like you could do you could have shot all of Asylum outdoors on that location. Wow. So but the offices were all kind of like dated. It was like that post-war brick sterile kind of environment, which is perfect for what they were kind of doing. And then you have the beautiful locations of the homes that have the the big beams, and you feel like it coming up on the southern plantation. So Louisiana's been a great kind of, because it has that natural backdrop. And then this season, most of the stuff, all the stuff that was like inside the tent, that's all shot in the same kind of like soundstage where we shot other stuff. So the interiors are all kind of there, but exterior was all on on that campgrounds. Like we're on, and we're in our own little private area. Like no one knows where it is, and they van us in and van us out. And there's like people in the neighborhood that they kind of know, and it's like there's like 4 families. They're like hey, and the van goes by. It's like it's sweet because we have
part
this,
of the neighborhood.
Yeah, they're part of the neighborhood. Like we know they're doing that freak show over there. Yeah. They're doing that freak show over there. So it's this beautiful kind of like this world that you kind of go into, and when you're there for those long hours, it's so there's something interesting, and I'm hoping season 5 stays in Louisiana. I really do. I got a feeling that it will, and who knows what they're gonna do, but there's just something about that's been like second home for a while. There's something like past lifey, Shirley MacLaine-ish about that place. When you go there, you feel like you're part of some historical thing, or like things, like you say, things happened here.
Yeah, totally. It's like New Orleans, one of my favorite places, but like when I go there, you're just like, more has happened here than most other places.
Yeah. And you feel it, and it's still kind of there because other cities have kind of like, they have a really cool thing about preserving the history of Louisiana. So some of the buildings and things, that will never change. Right. You can change the inside of it. I've seen buildings stand up where it's just the outer part of it, and all the bricks and the iron and everything stays, but then it's like some modern building on the inside. So they've been able to kind of hold and preserve the history and the culture of it. And there's so many cultures kind of going there. It's also really a young person's town. After Katrina, it's really like a lot of kids went to college and left. Now they're like, New Orleans is like a
party
hip,
town.
Under 30 town to be, So there's that.
Oh, that's fun.
You have been around for a very long time. Well, you started as the Gerber baby, right? In
That's
1966.
Right. Yes. I was on the little jars of the Gerber baby foods.
And like that is where your career started.
That's right. It's all it's the same. Yeah. So that's kind of like, my mom was a interior designer, and from the Art Institute of Chicago, and so my dad was a photographer, and they're like, let's put this picture in for this thing, and then they do a little sketch of you, and so then
it was a contest. Was it still a contest?
It's a contest then.
Yeah.
So the idea is you just kind of put your stuff in, and so you put a photograph in, and then someone just outlines a sketch, and then they kind of look through and like, oh, I kind of like that one, and then you're the kid. It's like you get your little Gerber life insurance policy. No, that's the heartbreak of it all. When I left college, I had this portfolio that had these early pictures of like McDonald's set commercial, all these like print ads as a kid, and I left it at the airport. And I've never seen it. If you're out there, please, they're who? But it's been gone for a long, long time. But yeah, I'm like, they're just like irreplaceable things. So.
Somebody sitting at home is just like super fans. They're like,
yeah, wait for him to die. I gotta sell that on eBay.
Look at all these Gerber babies.
Yeah, like, a creepy looking kid. Who was that? Yeah, so no, I've been around for a bit. It's one of these like I'm a 30-year overnight sensation kind of scenario.
Yeah. I mean, you've DJ'd.
Yes. I put in some time in the New York club scene. So if you
Studio 54.
I was the last summer, and I was way too young to be there. I was 14. but that's a different time.
Hey, it still happens today.
Oh, totally.
It does happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're scaring me because I have a 13-year-old. So please don't tell me that
DJ.
she could be. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but the whole club scene was like, that was the last summer of Studio 54 before they moved over to Palladium. Mm-hmm. And I just was DJing. I was like pulling records for this really incredible DJ out of Chicago, and that was his last summer there. And I was like, okay. And I just didn't realize what it was until I was like later, and I was like, that's like, there's that. Everybody had one name. Like there's Halston. There's Bianca. There's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like everybody had this like one name thing, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the one story that I did have, which I think and I don't have it anywhere, is there was a barback at Studio 4 the last summer, and his name was Tom, and he lived in New Jersey. And that is Tom Cruise.
Oh. It's like one name only, Tom.
At Studio 54.
You check it out. He won't admit it, but it's true.
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
Called him out.
Tom Cruise, he was living in New Jersey, and I knew because he would get a ride. He would get a ride back to New Jersey when he was done working.
Wow.
But he was a barback.
That's a great
But there was a lot of, like, if you look at like Ryan Phillippe, what was that Ryan Phillippe movie?
Yeah.
There's so many people that will or will not admit that they were part of that whole kind of scene at that time, and he was one of them.
Oh my God.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That's really neat.
That's
That's really
the other one
neat.
was like when we did. I did Risky Business. I was a extra in Risky Business, and one of the other extras was like Jason Gedrick, who like went on to do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
But we were all like Chicago folks. It was like Cusack and me and Casey Samatsko. There was like, Alan Ruck. They were all kind of local guys who were all, and then a couple of them went off and did like Grosse Pointe Blank, DVD Vincentas and Leli. These are like people that I knew. So it was like, there was this fun thing about being the Chicago. We were not New York. We were not LA. But there was like movies coming to town, so there was this opportunity for us to kind of break out. And those guys went to LA, and I went to New York. So you make your choices.
Yeah.
At the time. But Jeremy Piven and I went to high school together. We were same year. He was a football player, and Cusack and we played a little ball together and did theater. So there's like there's this interesting kind of like over time. You see these folks, and you're like, hey man, remember the time?
All the stories you must have.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of them.
You're like, remember that time this person got wasted?
Yeah, exactly. Of which we will not talk about anywhere.
No, not till your memoirs at least.
When that person releases your memory
That's
book
right.
of pictures.
I want to stay in the business, so I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
Because you'll see them later on. You're like, hey, that little AfterBuzz thing you did? Yeah, I really didn't appreciate that you were telling people you were a bar back when it's like, dude, telling you, I knew who you were.
I saw you.
Tom,
you.
Come on. You had no shirt on, bro. Just own it. Own it.
So you've modeled, you've acted, you've
Yes.
done DJing. Do you have a favorite? What do you enjoy the most?
Naked modeling now is my new thing because ladies like the chubby chasers. There's chubby chasers out there. You like big, fat, bald men. I really miss DJing because it's like, but I do it now for like just pleasure. Because with something about, like I was saying to you, is like I DJed at my kid's school. And, you're playing a Gangnam Style to like 500 kids, half of which are Korean, who are just going nuts in a schoolyard. that's kind of cool.
It's fun.
You know what I mean? There's something about the DJ world where you're playing music that, like, and I had it happen in New York where I would DJ like a booze cruise, and a couple would hook up, and next thing you know, like 6 months later, like, we totally want you to come out to Long Island, and you have to do our wedding. We met on the booze cruise. If it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Lady in Red, when you played Lady in Red, Anthony looked at me and he said, "I want to marry you. Like, you're my like, you know, like, it was
Game
like
over."
And I'm like, wait, I'm going to Long Island to DJ a wedding for a couple that I hooked up over a song.
That is great.
Now that's where you kind of go, okay, yeah, this is a gig and it's cool, and you know, we're looking over the Statue of Liberty in a boat and it's sunset, and like, those are amazing. But then you're like, wow, I actually helped.
You're creating
moments.
moments.
There's going to be a baby going to be involved. You know what I mean? So the idea is that there's something about being the person who's kind of behind the scenes that does music that affects people. Mm-hmm. And I think that for me was like a kind of like, once I started to get more acting work, I was like, oh, I can do that same thing here. Just, you know, because at a certain point, the DJ thing, you become a person for hire, and then everybody tries to control what, like, can I make a request for the 5th time? Please play this song now. Play this song now. You know, and I'm like, then the joy of like, wait, just dance. Like, this is my gig, you know?
Right.
So I used to do the thing where like, I'm the no request DJ, which is like kind of death when somebody's paying you to play music. But there's something like, you want to create those moments and do those things. So I kind of felt like I was losing that sense of being allowed to affect people. Like, read the room, you know, like, these are skills that I use as an actor now, of coming in and with producers and things like that, you know, reading the room and going, you know, there's an energy and a pulse here. You need to either pull back or, you know, so, you know, what song would be good is da 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 da. So I think like at a certain point I was like, I needed to transition away from that. And also the club scene in New York was like, you know, we're talking about the introduction of ecstasy at Limelight. We're talking about, you know, cocaine. I'm watching people's lives being destroyed, you know. So there was that whole, like, I need to kind of get away from that scene and, like, start doing something a little bit more deeper.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, did theater. I did tons and tons of theater. I mean, easily 3-4 nights a week I'd be out reading a play for some playwright somewhere. So, you know, and doing tons of student films, of which some of those guys directed Dude, Where's My Car? And now the director from The Judge is like, I did their student films. So there's something about, you know, transitioning into, now I feel it's like I'm doing a lot of historical characters. So the big one for me is Dallas Buyers. And I'll cut a little bit to that because
arguably one of the best scenes of the film, and what I think solidified Jared Leto's Oscar nomination.
He feels that way, and that's what's great, is that I'm not plugging that. He's like, no, that scene, I'm the most vulnerable, I'm out of makeup, I have the most to lose. I mean, I'm begging for my life, you know, from you. And so for him, he really felt that put him over the top. And what was interesting about that is the kind of tweets and little messages that I get from people. There are people of transgender. There are people who are gay who came out to their parents who have not spoken to their parents since. So they were like, you know, I'm buying the DVD and I'm sending it to my father.
Wow.
And you go, okay, this is not just a day at the office. Here is a healing, or I'm going to try. Your scene is so true and honest to how I envision that I would be talking to my father and or mother, that I want to try to have a conversation and reach out. And maybe they will never watch it at all. Maybe they won't. But there's something about, like, it takes it, man, it's beyond just amazing movie that they sweat the Oscars, but it's about, oh my God, there's a human being that I did, even though I totally don't disagree. I disagree with everything that character is about, because that's not who I am. But I represent fathers and or mothers who have disowned and abandoned their own children because they're gay, or they're different, because they're trying to find if they're a man, or they don't know. You know what I mean? But they are who they are. But so I realize that that's a job that I have to do, but to have that kind of profound effect, like I'm having a conversation. And there's a few people that I still interactive with that are transgender, and just like, you know, your scene was just a little too fucking close to home. I'm sorry, too close to home. Close to home, because it was really, it you know, it's changed them in a way, you know, and it gave them a voice and somebody on the movies that they can go, oh my God, you know, Rayon is me. Here's my story. Because you don't see that.
Yeah.
So I think that, other than other movies like Trans-American, other movies, or even, even my friend Jill's new show, with Jeffrey Tambor, there hasn't been a kind of voice or an image there. So to take it, that same intent that I wanted to be able to affect people's life. Wow,
Yeah.
it's
That's
beyond,
incredible.
that's like my 50th movie. And I go, well, this is the one that people are going to kind of remember me for, because that scene, everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
The minute I say it, the people are like, oh my God, oh, you're the dad. It's just a character.
That's just a character.
I'm a good guy.
Portraying like an event that happened.
Like I have to represent, those people exist that don't love their children for
it's
who
just
they
a
were.
testament to who you are as an actor and as a performer, that you were able to do it so believably.
Thank you, but the hard part is I do run into people who think that's
real.
I'm
That's who
that
you
guy,
are.
and I'm like, come on,
Really?
really?
So you just go right up in and give them a hug.
Yeah,
And they're like,
I'm like, come on, hold my hand, come on, give me a kiss. Just something to totally break it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just totally break those barriers down.
Yeah, so a lot of that communicating to your audience, like as you did as a DJ and like what you did as an actor, now you're producing. Are you finding that connection as well?
Because now it's like there's it's almost like I'm starting my career, 112 movies or TV shows in, So there's people who are kind of like, giving me props and attention and things like that. So I think producing now, it's like I'm just starting my new web series, and it's a whole new ball game. But I produced The Cellar Door, which is like a kind of a horror movie, and created this very lovable but confused serial killer. Where girls are like, oh, he's so confused, and I'm like, no, people, he's a sociopath. He traps women in the cellar and doesn't feed them till they fall in love with him. Like, I don't think he's going to be, you can fix him. I don't think
that's not the broken puppy dog you mess
with. You can't
with.
fix a sociopath like that. Just give it a heads up if there's a guy out there. So, but being able to kind of take the project from idea and creation all the way to the end is kind of amazing, and so I'm venturing in this new territory. I like producing because there's a business. I understand that there's a business, and I have a really good business acumen, and it's helped me to kind of survive, and so being able to kind of create, I want to do more of that. There are projects that I'm being attached to, which is kind of an odd thing. Like I'm meeting with a director tomorrow to officially attach myself to a project, and so it's not an audition, and I'm not, I don't have to. I just sit down and have a meeting with this person, and we start talking about this character that we're going to create, this collaboration. And so, the idea
to not have to audition.
I know. I just trust me. Like,
it's the
but you
most
go through
terrifying
these phases
thing.
of like, I go through like, I get one offer a year, and then over since Dallas Buyers, there's like more and more kind of offers coming my way, and they're just checking to see if I'm available, and do I need to, what do I wear? And like, no, if you're available, and they'll call you, and they'll just book you. And I go, so that's it. I just show up, and
That's awesome.
I'll meet this person on the set, I guess. And what do I, like it's a wonderful thing. I've heard about it. It happens,
It's happening
it's
now.
happening now. And so more and more of those things I think are kind of really quite wonderful,
awesome.
And that there's also a testament to the body of work. I think that's another cool thing. Is just like, I'm not a new guy. I'm very capable, and you can look at anything and it'll tell you that I'm going to be pretty truthful and honest and straightforward. And I'm not going to, it's going to be 12, 15-hour days. I'm not going to bother you too much. I'm just going to kind of do my work and be in my trailer. So, there's a lot to be said for that, as opposed to the drama that happens on sets. I hear.
Yeah.
Allegedly. So I've heard.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
I'm not going to be part of any of that.
But speaking of drama, tonight's
Ooh.
episode.
Yeah. Huh?
For me, I think
where do you
for
start?
this season, I think it was one of the more visually gruesome.
Oh yeah.
Right? I think it was the most we've seen.
She was swinging that axe,
I mean-
boy, and she was not stopping.
But then like the cops, or they're like just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
very good. The blood
Everything.
splattering everywhere.
Everything, starting from the beginning with Jimmy and Stanley and I don't know. It was hard.
Yeah. Well, this is one of my favorite ones the whole season.
Absolutely
Oh,
one of my
good.
favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right next to the one that we were talking about where
Yeah,
he's
409.
hanging
The other
himself,
one too is where Chickless is kind of hanging, about to hang himself. There seems to be such depth of relationship, and Jimmy's still in this drunken fervor. This one seems like people were really landing in, and I really love the addition of Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Way to go, Ryan Murphy.
I agree, and
really great addition.
I was a little apprehensive with him coming onto the show.
Yeah, we spoke about
not
that
because of who he is as a person, but I felt like bringing him in after this winter break was sort of just a gimmick to get people to watch the show, and I felt like his character wasn't going to fit. But I was pleasantly surprised.
And I bet the numbers are going to be even better.
Yeah, I think so too.
So beyond just the kind of like stunt casting scenario,
right?
But also you got to look at his body of work too. Like, you're doing that, and you're doing Hedwig on Broadway. There's really not a lot that guy can't do.
No, there isn't. And I know Neil has been trying to get on the show, I think, since season 1. So, it's not...
Success. Way to go, Neil.
You did it. You did it.
4 seasons later.
Yeah. Andy's really a magician, right?
Really?
Yeah. He actually does magic.
He
so all of that.
He's at the Magic Castle all the time.
See, I'm not up on that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was the beginning of some award show he was hosting, and it was the coolest opening to an award show I've ever seen. Because he was like Matt, he was like in the front, then he was in the back. It was amazing.
Awesome.
We have to look it up. I will send it to you.
I will.
No, great.
I want to find out.
Like, I didn't even remember the rest of the show. I was just like, this part was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing that.
But I don't even know where to start. Someone else talk.
Okay, so the Jimmy and Del thing.
Yeah.
Now that was not the first time that we saw Del really be fatherly, but this was just, it took the cake. He was feeding him for the first time. He was like, I know a guy who doesn't have hands, and he's a chef now, and it was just good to see. Two hooks, and he chops and dices, and
there's hope for you, son.
But because they were having that connection, I was like, oh, it's over for him.
Yeah.
You're like, I knew I was.
You really thought that?
Yeah,
I thought the
absolutely.
same thing too. I was like, oh,
it's his
now
swan
they
song.
finally had that father and son moment. He goes, oh, he's dead.
I didn't think that at all.
They're keeping Jimmy.
Didn't even cross my mind.
I thought for sure the minute he was feeding him, and then he was talking about, oh, that's funny. You feel like you felt like a freak because you were normal. And I was like, that's what I like. I think we were on the same page. I was like, oh, he's going
bye.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Vic.
Good call there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't think that was coming?
No, it didn't even cross my mind because all I kept thinking was, Jimmy went to God knows where. Stanley brought him to who knows where to cut his hands off. And the only thing I can think of is that Jimmy's going to get an infection in his hands because, we didn't see them get removed, but we know that they did get removed, and he's in the hospital. There's gonna definitely. But earlier episodes we saw that both hands in a jar.
In a jar, yeah. We knew both were gonna be gone.
Ma Petite as well. So there's been a lot of like tip-offs that are kind of like hello, if you're really watching, and you guys are watching. If you're really watching, you're going to see a little bit of these things. But there's something about that longing for the father and son connection that, like, we kept going around it. It's like, remember how magnets don't sometimes when they go the opposite? It's like you're going around, and it never...
Negative and negative.
But it's been like that pretty much the whole season if you really look at it. So I thought just as the minute their connection is like, the minute they can be on the same page, I'm like, we got to just rip this apart. That's part of the heartbreak of... And I think Ryan's done an amazing job this season, I have to say. And I've said it before in other things, is that bringing real humanity to the freak show, and then also turning it on its edge by going, no, we're the freaks. Right. They're born just like this, and we alter ourselves. Yeah. They're just like this. So maybe we are the freaks. So there's something about, I just like how he's brought a real depth of humanity to each of the characters. That through the whole season, and bringing in Neil Patrick Harris is like, this is a nice kind of like, what's gonna happen? We got two more to go. Two more to go. The last 3, it's like we're building up to some stuff.
Yeah. But that exact there where you're saying that the freaks are the normal ones and the normal people are the freaks, and that's what when Bet and Dot are like writing in their diary and they're saying like, these people are happy because they accept it and they're seeking pleasure and let's go do it.
That's right.
Then they really went and tried to do it.
Speaking of Bet and Dot.
Speaking of Bet and Dot.
My goodness. They're on a mission to get deflowered.
To get laid.
When a girl wants it. Gonna make it happen.
She shaves her legs, it's on. You're all laughing because
it's real.
Ladies, you know what I'm talking
about.
That's real. I'm not a young kid.
of the show in the credits, there's the babies. I think they're babies that are like playing with themselves, the conjoined babies.
Oh, yeah.
So it's something that I've been waiting to happen to see how it's going to happen, because I've been thinking the entire time, okay, we have the conjoined twins, we have these like weird conjoined doll babies that are.
So you see the doll babies and you're thinking menage a trois, like boom, that's
no,
where you're going.
I'm thinking like, well, eventually they're going to want to have sex and
It's something that they're going to need to explore their sexuality.
Right,
somewhere.
but I was assuming it was going to be something they were going to do on their own.
Right, because they said that they had not experienced an orgasm, or like one of them did not understand what an orgasm was.
Yeah.
Because I'm not quite sure about their physiology.
Anybody relate to that out there? Anybody? Anybody?
Tweet at James.
He wants to know.
I'll help you.
Well, it seemed like when they were having sex with Chester, Bet was in pain, but Dot was enjoying herself.
Correct. Correct.
So we do know that they have one vagina, but they feel it differently.
Yeah.
That's so
Well, then, like, there's like different people have different tolerance of pain, so like that could be attributed to that.
Okay.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Anybody out there conjoined twins?
I don't know.
Orgasm.
That's my theory.
Right?
Tweet us out at conjoined twin orgasm hashtag. Yeah.
Speaking of, we had our other host last night on our Forever After show us a picture of a guy who has two penises.
Two penises, yes. Two
was,
functional penises.
Very interesting.
Wow.
I'm still scarred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the three breasts alone, which will be a good segue into Desiree.
Yeah.
Like but there was a couple of things on TV of these women who, like, went out and got three.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm
I
like
think
going.
that woman that was on the news, it turned out she did have a breastplate,
Yeah.
like a silicone breastplate that I think kind of similar to what Angela Bassett is wearing on the show. That it wasn't
Right.
Oh, so
real.
it's fake.
Yes.
Oh my
Right.
gosh. Desperate
Yes.
for
Oh.
attention there.
Yeah.
A fake third breast.
I mean, I don't know why you
who
would
would have
wanna,
thought?
I don't know why you.
I mean, hey,
go
we're
out
talking
and-
about it now, so I guess mission accomplished for
Yeah,
her,
mission
right?
accomplished. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Check off for her to get talked about on
Exactly.
AfterBuzz TV
Yeah, I
podcast.
think we have that on that's the three. Yeah, the three-breasted gal.
Well, Desiree and Maggie come back from where we ended last episode. They come back from the museum.
They bring Ma Petite.
Bring
Yeah, bring her back.
Why didn't they bring Jimmy's hands?
I don't know. That may
I mean, the
That
two
was
girls thing.
an
That's next
easier
week.
thing to
next
carry.
week. Well, we had to get rid of the hands first in order to bring them back. You had to
That's
get rid of
true.
Ma Petite in order to bring her back.
That's true.
So you gotta.
Maybe next episode.
But there's two of them.
I know, but there's two
Yeah.
of them.
There's two of them, and I feel like the hands or the head. Whose head was there? Someone's head.
Meeps,
was there.
right?
No.
No, somebody else's head. You're right.
It's Peppa's husband.
Salty.
Yeah,
Salty's head is
Salty
there. I mean,
head.
that would have been easier to bring back. The hands would have been easier to bring back.
But Muppet,
Yeah.
it's dramatic. When
it is
Oh,
very
yeah.
dramatic. And
I mean, I guess it all would have been dramatic, but I don't know. I liked your story about you and the actress that plays Ma Petite. And
Yeah.
just that how she's so wonderful. Like,
No, I was at the wrap party for American Horror Story in New Orleans, and I just couldn't keep my eyes off her, and it's just like she deals with this all the time, and she's like, I hate people trying to touch herself. So I got the memo that like when you see Ma Petite, just
Don't walk up to her and
you
pick
know
her
what I mean,
up.
don't pet her and try to hold her and pick her up like a little. But you're looking at this precious doll, like the little fingernails and the eyelashes, and then she has these like the kind of bigger shoes, but she's on a little table, and so it was just
but even like
how can you not-
personality-wise,
oh, yeah,
like that
personality-wise, but
comes
there's-
off of her.
She's a beaming light, it's just this beautiful, positive, and her smile is these big teeth, and she's just gorgeous. Yeah. And so it's just like you kind of can't not watch her for a while. So at a certain point, to not creep her out, I'm at the bar, and there's alcohol involved, folks. So I'm at the bar, and I'm just kind of just enamored and kind of watched. So at a certain point, I went over and I introduced myself, and she knew. And Chickless and I had gone to college together, so I said I'm really close friends with Chickless, and she goes, "Oh, I like Michael," But I'm like, "You like the guy that suffocated you? Okay, that's cool. What's not to like about Chickless?" But so she was very, very sweet. But there's something about her that's just radiant light.
Oh,
You know
I
what I
love
mean?
that.
Really
Yeah.
radiant light, and that's one of the beautiful things. We talked about this before. Is that lead up, the lead up of this whole season of introducing us to the Freaks and their story, like this little mini bio of who they are. really did the job of us being emotionally connected to each of them, you know. And when they're gone, they're like, oh man, you know. So it's job well done. You know, I mean, still 2 more to go.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be over. You don't want it to be over.
I mean, we're running out of freaks.
But they brought in a new one. So can we talk about Chester?
Yeah, let's talk about Chester.
Let's talk about Chester.
Chester and Marjorie.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know that I'd call him a freak.
Just crazy.
I think he's just crazy.
Is he dandy crazy?
Dandy's not crazy.
Okay.
But I think Dandy's
misunderstood.
Slightly misunderstood.
Yeah, you can fix it.
Because I
He's
saw
fixable. These sociopaths.
He's totally fixable.
Nah.
I saw a parallel. This kind of naive, boyish, just really, I would say boyish.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I mean, I would say the difference between Dandy and Chester is that Dandy was born the way he was, and I think Chester
Degraded to that.
Sort of something that happened to
Traumatic.
him.
The war.
Yeah, led him
Yes.
to this traumatic stress. You know.
Well, yeah, could you imagine you went to
Post-traumatic.
war and
Yeah.
your wife falls in love with another woman and like homegirl doesn't move
it's
out?
not uncommon.
Yeah, but they still kept him
And
around.
you join
like,
in. I'm like, I
let-
don't care
let
what
him
period
ride,
it is.
like-
That sounds like a good deal. You know, you're in the trenches with a whole bunch of men.
But they didn't
for a while, and
involve
you're like,
him.
wait,
They
my
didn't
gal likes
involve
gals.
him.
Yeah,
No, they tried
No,
to.
they tried.
They
He
tried to
just
bring
sat
him
there
in.
with
He's like,
Marjorie.
I got this. I like put my hands up this girl's skirt. You know, this puppet skirt. So
I mean, I
it's
guess it
weird.
was
So weird.
sort of a coping mechanism for him, I guess, after the
Like his
war. He
comfort
took
blanket?
up this ventriloquist doll, which nothing's creepier. I don't know why.
Yeah,
just like
it's Chucky's sister. It's like, how can you not be creeped about it?
It's so
and she was so
bizarre.
well done, and I love the tie-in.
I love
from
Jamie
that.
Brewer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jamie Brewer
Brewer.
tie-in. I'm like, as soon as I saw Jamie Brewer, I was like, and then you called it. You called it immediately. You called it from the voice.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was you. That was
He's
you.
like,
Yeah.
we're like, whoa,
Abigail.
it's Abigail.
I did too. I just didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin it for anyone else.
Oh no, you were like,
I said it in my head.
Yeah, visually aloud. She was like, I got this one.
Yeah.
I know where this is going. It was beautiful. It's great.
It was. I mean, I was kind of surprised that they showed us how he sees Marjorie,
Right. Right.
which I thought was more interesting because he sees her as a real girl.
Oh yeah, which is why I love even like Elsa's response of like going, you mean you're dummy? And you're like, you know
Right.
what? Shh,
Yeah.
shut up! I got cold cut here. Like this guy's crazy. Like he'll kill people like this. I was like, shh. Don't be talking about your crazy little wooden doll. And he's like, you don't understand who she is and what she is to me. I love that kind of stuff. That's why I put him in the freak category for sure.
Okay.
Because of his perception and how he deals with her, he's definitely in the freak category. Crazy, you know, that's Asylum. I mean, but this is Freakshow. He's got serious damaged issues that I think really put him in the, you know, he's well welcome in the group.
Now, would you think that his issues began before he killed his wife and her lover, or got worse because of that? Because he blames that murder on the doll.
Right. So yeah, it had to have been bad before he killed them. His
Do you think
yeah, because I mean, what would push him to kill his wife and
that relationship?
but to kill like that, like bash their heads in?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I loved how fascinated Dandy was with it, though. He's like,
Yeah.
but how did they die?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
fill
he's
me
like,
in.
what a
like,
sicko.
Yeah, he's like,
Like
that's-
for Danny to call somebody a sicko.
Oh yeah, I'm like, dude, pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's all just have a bath of blood. Why don't we?
Why not? It's
Yeah.
not the first time we've seen it.
No, I think there's something you said about this. It goes back to something I like to approach in terms of character work. Is that I always try to find what's called the Achilles heel. Try to find that inciting incident, the wound that never heals, the horrific or maybe not so horrific, but was it abandonment? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's the germ or the seed that led to that kind of behavior?
Right.
And I think that the writing is so good in the show that there's all. Just when you think you understand that inciting incident, there's something else. There's this trigger or this domino effect that kind of happens. Like, oh, well, that's what leads him to that. You know what I mean? You know, Del being the son of all these freaks, and then the fact that at that time him being gay is he considers freakdom, and I'm like, wow, that's another beautiful kind of message that's throughout the season is that just when you think you understand the inciting incident or the germ of their thing, there's another trigger or another effect of it that goes farther. I think this year, beyond all years, because Asylum was the hardest year for me to watch. I've watched every episode.
I agree.
Because, and Chickless and I talk about this time, like just the idea of crazy, like just unfettered, no boundary thing, that is a deep, dark area for me.
It's terrifying.
But even with this season, I felt like just when he's gone too far, I'm like, wow, okay, that was on the air? Like that, like we just went a step further. And I think that's the nature of where we're at right now. We're in like this pioneer of television where the boundaries can go far beyond what censors and things of like, we're adults. You're giving me the warning of what's happening in this particular episode. There's going to be violence.
Yeah.
There's going to be
TV.
And I love that they're willing to take the risk.
You're taking the risk. And look, there's some things where, and I'm kind of conservative about this because I have a teenager, I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. And I watch stuff before to go, okay, this is or not. I can go, we're going to speed through this thing because this is just not appropriate for you to watch,
Yeah.
But I think that what's beautiful now is that we're in this creative world where we have these outlets where people can pick and choose make their own decisions about, I want to see that kind of show, And so it's kind of amazing. And I think Ryan's really one of the main people that is really pushing the envelope of what let us decide. You know what I mean? It's not a matter. I mean, I don't know if there are people who are going, oh, we're definitely not. We're going to ban this show. Or we're going to try to shut it down. I don't see that happening. No. And I think that's what a great benchmark of kind of what's happening in our society now. Yeah. I know some people are like, oh, that's a terrible thing. But I feel the exact opposite is that all art should be in an opening up of all human behavior and all its beauty and ugliness and everything else in between. Yeah. So it's like we're getting to understand the world of the freaks that I didn't know much. I know what I thought I knew from documentaries and other things I've seen. But this has been an amazing kind of season in terms of opening up the conversation of. What is it? What is a freak?
Before going into this season, did you watch the documentary you did? Mm-hmm. Did you like it?
I did, but I like Gummo. I mean, like I like offbeat stuff. And there's the reality show, the freaks that are on Venice Boulevard. And so my kids and I, we watched that. And there was actually some people from that show that ended up on the season. One of the tallest man, African American. He ended up I ended up seeing him on his head open, busted open. He didn't have any lines, but he was on set. And I was like, hey, we watch you. And I'm like, I'm a fan of the freaks. Here I'm an actor who works with the Oscar, but I'm a fan of the freaks. So there's. Yeah. There's a wonderful thing, and I've gotten to become friends with Matt Fraser, and Naomi and I are, there's and Finn. I mean, we're building relationships with it because you're around 16, 18 hours, with each other, and Amazon Eve,
And most people aren't in a position where they're around someone long enough to make a real connection.
That's correct, and also just I'm not coming to the show. I'm not paying money to see you perform like a seal. Mm-hmm. We're contemporaries. Yeah. We are working together on a show. Even though I gotta say, if Amazon Eve pushes my head in her breast one more time, you know who you are because you're in Europe now. You're not watching, but you might be watching. But she's every single time. It's like me in Cold Cut. She's just like, oh my god! Look, I'm 6'9", and I was like, yeah. But there's something wonderful about. And particularly Matt and I because we have a mutual friend who did New York. He was in New York. He did some New York theater, and we become good friends. And there's just something wonderful about our connection to the show because we're actors. At the end of the day, we're actors, and so that's what I think. What Ryan's really doing a great job of just kind of we're all freaks in some form or another. But let's all bond that way.
I love it.
Yeah, I kind of love that too.
Yeah,
it's something that we've been saying here for a long time.
You're all freaks?
We're all freaks. It's just how you show it.
How you show it and how deeply committed are you to letting it show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? We're all in denial about it. It's like, we all got an inner freak going on. Everybody. So.
Hey, I'm the first one to admit it.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's halfway. You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Del and Desiree. Should we talk about Del and Desiree? Like, that was kind of...
we can, yeah.
But
it was, I'm shocked that Desiree knew about Del's homosexuality.
Women aren't stupid, right?
Yeah.
And she's a
That
really
sixth sense.
smart woman.
Women know
Yeah.
their men.
I know.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right,
But she was married to him. She went along with it.
Mm-hmm.
She sort of upheld the lie.
Right. But she's got 3 breasts, and she's also got a little something down there,
an
too. You know what I mean?
Enlarged clitoris.
Right. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah. I mean,
Do you think this one was a little odd because you felt that she was surprised in who he was, that she knew he was?
No, I mean, I was surprised that she knew more about him than she had let on previously.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that she would, allow Elsa to shoot him in the head.
But what's interesting here is that, and I'll go back to this because I remember my first episode, which was 403, and Colcutt makes this comment about, we heard about what you did to those people in Chicago. So,
Right.
Del has been capable of murder
Yes.
previous to this. So there was something that, to me, rung a little bit true and a little bit untrue in terms of Desiree's surprise of, like, you did this, or I was getting the feeling like, you committed that when we left Chicago, you committed you wouldn't do that anymore. But now you've done it, but not just done it to defend us or to get out of town or whatever. Now you're doing it to us. Like, that's what stung, and that's why I think she would actually allow something like that to happen.
Yeah,
Right.
the anger was that you did this to one of our own.
That's right.
Because when she was with the girl who's the con artist, what's her name?
Emma Roberts.
She's like, if I find out that
Esmeralda.
you killed our people, like, you're gone.
Yeah.
But, like, so she's Mama Bear. She's,
No, for sure.
that's
sure.
what hurt. And then whoever did it was going to pay.
And what I love is she's kind of taking over the role of the Mama Bear that the Kathy Bates, once Kathy Bates' character's gone, because she was the really kind of the moral compass.
really was.
And then once she's gone, who's Elsa? You know what I mean?
Don't trust that girl.
Elsa's
Yeah.
Elsa's
out for Elsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
I mean, we saw her packing tonight, so
Right.
Right.
she's ready to go.
She's coming to Hollywood.
Watch
Oh,
out.
yeah. She'll fit in fine.
Yeah, she really will.
Well,
What's
we
in it
know
for
from
me?
the flash forward of a couple weeks ago that she
Yeah.
does eventually make it.
She
so-
does make it.
yeah.
She's on Life magazine.
Oh,
On the
my
cover.
God. That's going to be fun.
I hope that's the last episode.
It could be. It could be.
It's a photo shoot.
For life.
Yeah, she's like, like a little this, and she's like on the beach with a little ball, and
Oh my
little,
God.
yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of the seasons have ended with interviews,
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So season 2
Two ended.
and 3
And 3.
ended in like a television interview.
Yeah.
Season 1 didn't, but 2 and 3 did. So I mean,
So we'll see if 4 does. Maybe with Elsa.
interesting. That's what I'm
Elsa.
saying.
Yeah.
So it's like it would be like the early E! True Hollywood story.
Yes.
Tell us, Elsa, how did you lose your legs and run a freak show?
dark night
This was the dark- Yes, exactly. I want to talk about Dandy for a second because
Yeah.
Dandy's been such a huge, heavy, run in this entire season. And this episode's like, all right, but Neil, you can take all the stuff now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Dandy's been so set up for such things. This was I was a little disappointed because I really felt like it's we needed to introduce Chester. I got that, but I mean, where Dandy's going, where we want Dandy to go, who knows? You know what I mean?
And we only have 2 episodes to do it.
I know. So I felt a little Dandy cheated a little this week.
I feel like we'll get him in predictions. We'll see.
I'm certainly hoping that that's the case. I know that I love that kind of, and that actor was talking about J.D. Evermore, bringing information about. It seemed like there was like he made a play. He was making a play to buy the freak show, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I
Or
was
it
surprised
couldn't.
that
I'm like,
didn't happen.
Yeah, because I'm like, dude, you just offer somebody $1 million to go kill Precious,
To
like,
kill Precious.
and that happens, and
and
we're
then
good to go.
He turns into a private investigator, or does he?
No,
like,
it's a different character.
Oh, that's a different character.
Yeah, he's a different
Okay.
character. Because
missed that.
Colcutt came back again. He was in this episode, and so. But my phone was. It's working.
It's on. It's shattered, but it's on.
Whenever he shows up, I should be right there. Just saying. Next season, you owe me one. So no, that was a different detective. That was a private investigator that Dandy had hired to get information about the freaks.
Okay, that's right.
And I think it was in order to kind of find his wedge or leverage into purchasing the freak show.
Yeah.
Because he said, they were going to be mine. It's like the one thing that Dandy can't have, which I think is great. I like that idea of it. But you're kind of going, but for a guy that's been able to get everything, I just find it hard to believe that you can't.
It's only a matter of time.
You can't buy that freak show.
Yeah, he
2 more episodes.
Only
we'll
a
find
matter
out.
of time.
That's right.
He's going to take him in a different way because he says he's a god.
That's
So
right.
he's just going to manipulate his way in because maybe that's more fun for him.
Or they're just going to turn that whole lake into blood, and everybody's going to jump in.
And they're going to
Bloodbath.
swim.
Fun.
So now we got. Unfortunately, Dell's gone.
Dell's
Dell's
gone.
not going to be coming back.
Who else was gone?
Who else is gone? Is Twisty coming back?
No.
Come on,
only.
bring back some
No.
Twisty.
Who else died?
Pepper's gone, but not
Pepper's
dead, but just
gone.
gone. She's not coming back.
But who else?
Ma Petite,
Petite.
Salty.
Salty.
I think that's.
We still have Amazon Eve. We still have,
Yes.
Matt Flipper Boy. Like so, like
Where did the lizard girl go?
Penny?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she's not around.
She's
very forgettable.
Yeah.
I hate
All
to
that
say
camouflage.
that, but she is so forgettable.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But the one twist I did like this week is I love when Evan's coming out of like his euphoria of like what's going on, and she's like, oh no, I was at the.
Oh, the
I was
nurse.
at the Tupper party. Tupperware party. I like that little tie-in because I was like, you can go a lot farther with that, but there's only so much time.
Right.
But that lovely little like, you're tied up and you killed my friends.
And Jupiter's a small town. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's everybody would know.
Oh, for sure.
I'm really feeling for Jimmy though.
Yeah, I know.
mean, he lost his mom, he lost his dad, he lost his hands.
Yeah.
I mean, he is as like rock bottom as it can get.
But each season,
or
it's
not.
becoming evidently
Oh, no.
aware, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Evan Peters is amazing.
Yeah, he's a rock
such
star.
He's an
Incredible
amazing
actor.
actor. You've watched from season 1, like
Tate.
talk about like taking a growth and
Yeah. In season 1, where he's shooting up the school, like that whole
Yeah.
episode, I was like, this guy has got it.
Yeah,
he's
like,
got the goods,
just
man.
go,
Yeah.
do it, do
got
anything you
goosebumps.
want.
couldn't happen to a nicer person. I love it, and I didn't I'm the last to know these things because I don't delve into people's things. And then Emma Roberts, them on set and off set, there's just that great kind of. And I was like, you guys got a good thing going. And they're like, yeah, it's like, duh. Like, don't you? And I was like, because I don't really delve into people. But it's like there's this lovely chemistry. I wish there was some more of that. I like that relationship at all. And Dennis O'Hare, I mean, he can do anything.
Gosh,
he really,
he's great.
I hung out with him a little bit in Dallas Buyers, and just what a wonderful person. But like, again, another creepy, weird, like last season in Coven. I mean, like
Oh my God, the tongue.
He's just.
He was able to do so much without saying anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's
Brilliant.
amazing. But
he's
this
incredible.
thing, just the lovely, he could talk anybody into anything, which is quite lovely. So I don't know. This has been a kind of I'm getting kind of sick.
Because it's
Guys.
almost over.
I wasn't gonna cry.
Speaking of Dennis O'Hara, I want to
Yeah.
jump into news and gossip.
Yeah. Here we go.
Do we have any?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh, news.
Jessica Lange has confirmed that she's not returning for season 5. I know.
Wow.
Just kidding.
She is not returning, but Dennis O'Hare
That's
is.
devastating.
Good.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Oh, but Jessica Lange.
What news source did you get this
Yeah,
from?
I want to find out the
wanna
news
know.
source because we
Come on.
talked a little bit before.
Yeah.
I have some
Can we
sources.
call Jessica Lange right now?
I don't. We're not that close.
Oh.
But I'll see her at the Golden Globes, so
Okay.
maybe I'll talk to her. a little
Ask
bit.
her.
I'll
Because there's
ask
very
Ask her
devastated
for,
females that
Because
need
there
to
was
know.
there was talk about that it would stay in New Orleans. She does have a place in New Orleans. There was talk that she would stick around. So I thought that might be a possibility.
I'm so sad.
Be sad.
Yeah, no.
But
Anything can
Never
happen.
say never.
Anything
Is
can
what I
happen.
I mean, yeah. You never know. I mean, but she did say that she didn't want to do it after season 4.
she did. She did.
Yeah.
Sticking to her
Wanted
word.
Yeah.
To move on to
Word.
different things.
But Kathy
Okay.
Bates, I think, will come back. That's my
Ooh.
prediction.
Probably.
I would guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because she really likes the concept and idea that each year people can be something different. So I'm feeling that she's coming back. Evan's definitely coming back. Why would he
Yeah.
not come back?
Yeah. No, I love it because it's like you've got
We
a
wanna
company,
finish
you're a
this
theater
thing.
troupe, and you
Well,
keep going, you do a
we-
new production.
There is definitely like a theater like this where there is a kind of like that what are we going to be this year? You know, what's on the boards
When are
this
they going to put
season,
me on
Governor?
summer stock?
Yeah, this year we're doing King Lear, and then we're also doing a lovely farce.
See, this other
yeah.
news source is also saying that Sarah Paulson is not returning.
Okay, if that happens, I'm not watching anymore.
Now that one I know
You say that, but
I'll have to confirm the other one, but I know that Jessica Lange is not coming back. Everyone's
man.
reporting.
I should
it.
just text Sarah right
Listen,
now.
please
She's
do.
going to sleep, though, right?
Yeah, she's probably sleeping, and she's in Atlanta time. I think she's being Marsha Clark right now. So
Oh, yeah.
gotta leave her alone.
That's the only news that I have, so we can jump into
Alrighty.
predictions.
Prediction.
All right. Oh snap!
And now, your
Yeah, welcome to-
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Flash you back to 54.
So,
So,
okay, I predict that Dandy and Chester are going to have some sort of face-off, like a mad duel.
to the
like-
death.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
One of
seeing.
them's going to die, you know.
Yes. What if the
Chester twins are gonna be in there.
The puppet.
Yeah, because the puppet or the twins, the jealousy of
saves them.
that. But something with them two, it's going down.
Okay.
We have two episodes to make it happen.
Right. Marielou.
Are you not allowed to give predictions because you actually know things?
I know some things.
You know something?
Yeah,
Okay.
don't give any
As Robert De Niro says, I know a thing or two about a thing or two,
Oh,
Yeah.
Exactly.
bet he does.
but I sworn to secrecy. So.
Yes, so you can
Because
say
of
things about
crazy twists that have happened in previous seasons, I would love it if Marjorie actually was a paranormal doll.
that. Oh, okay.
And listen, aliens showed up.
Right, that's true.
Right.
Hey,
You know,
Lola.
like weird stuff
Disappeared.
happens.
Weird stuff does happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I don't know if
surprise
that'll
me.
happen, but like, I don't know. I mean, all right, cool.
I think I can like add some predictions that I don't know about.
Okay.
that I would
Okay.
like to see.
Okay.
And I think I'm missing my Twisty, man. I think you got to bring him back. I think I'm missing Mondrake and Twisty. I really am. Those
Mandrake
two-
was incredible. That was such
Yeah.
a good character.
It was a great character, but I got to tell you, and on set, like when you're talking to him, and then he turns around and you see the face. In person, it's
Oh my gosh.
creepier.
terrifying.
Because you're like, and he's like, he goes, and he didn't think of it. I was like, oh, and he goes, oh, I'm sorry, man. He turns back around. He goes, I should have gave you. No, it's fine. It's whatever. We're like going to have dinner. You know what I mean? Like, and he's got the face on. But yeah, I'm hoping there's a little. I'm hoping that the 13. There's a little. It's the as we say in the musical. The musical. There's a 10 o'clock show, and then there's the finale.
Yes.
Where everybody comes back. So I'm hoping Twisty comes back and Mondrake in a kind of afterlife scenario, which would be cool, and maybe some musical number with them. I don't know.
we haven't seen a musical number in,
We
in a
haven't.
long
We're due.
time.
Well, you got Neil Patrick Harris coming off of Hedwig. So
yeah.
I'm thinking
He's
if
ready.
anybody's doing I'll make the prediction. If anybody's doing a musical number, it's Neil Patrick
Yeah,
Harris.
those vocal
before
cords.
13 is up.
predicting David Burtka is getting the musical number.
Now, where was he in this episode? Because he was in.
was-
He's in
Wasn't.
13 and 14, right?
He's in the last episode.
Okay, so 14.
Neil got 2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
David got 1.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
So he's in next.
I think he's in the final episode.
I think because I thought I saw on IMDb today that he was in there, but I didn't see him in this episode.
I didn't see him in this episode.
No.
Creeping in the back somewhere.
I mean, maybe he was in the background, but
Yeah. Sorry, David. We didn't.
Just an extra that day.
There's a lot of quick cuts in there. We can't catch everybody.
But my prediction is Dandy's killing Chester next week
Ugh.
to get rid of him and then buying the freak show.
Nice.
I
No?
feel like Dandy's got to die. He's bad.
Dandy's never gonna die.
He's God. Right?
He's
He says,
God.
I am God.
Yeah.
He's above the
Okay.
law.
I
He's
can't
above
wait.
the law.
So, but who's going to go next? Who's next?
Who's next to die?
Amazon Eve is in?
No, Amazon Eve's staying.
Out.
Yeah.
She can kick some ass.
Yeah, she's definitely staying. And her and Dell teaming up, strong man, strong woman. They're not. I mean,
Well, not anymore.
Dell's
Not
dead,
anymore.
but I feel like she was stronger than him anyway.
I feel like Stanley's going to die.
Oh,
somehow.
yeah.
He's
That
a-
might be good.
Not a good guy.
And you know who I think is going to do it?
Oh, Jimmy.
It'll be Desiree. Because if she can, if
Yes.
she can go as close as, if she's going to protect everybody and she realizes that he's at the source of this.
Oh, he's going down,
yeah,
honey.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going down big time.
For sure.
And it's going to be sassy and amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be Tina Turner
wait.
all like,
Only
what's
Angela
love got to
Bassett
do with
could
it? I will take you out,
Yeah.
brother. She's awesome.
She just directed
The Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston biopic for Lifetime.
Yeah, is that already out? Did you guys watch it?
Not yet.
It's not out.
It's not out yet. No.
No.
And when I started seeing the billboards for it, I was a little upset. I was like, it's too soon.
Though. I think it's this week.
It's
I think we're talking this week.
I think. Maybe it is this week.
Yeah, tonight is Empire. It's the premiere of Empire.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I think Desiree is going to be the one to take Stanley out because
like
if she
it.
realizes
I'd like
that
to see
he's
that.
the one,
Totally.
it's done. Because even if she's like, oh, no, you're doing this, and not realizing that there's somebody, the puppeteer behind it all, he's going.
I'll
down.
take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it too.
I think Jimmy's going to prevail. I think Jimmy's going to run. He's going to be the last man standing,
I hope so.
and he's going to take that freak show all the way to
With his new
Hollywood,
prosthetic hands.
I
That's
love
right.
him.
Fingers and toes.
Well, why don't we let everyone know where they can find you out there in the social media world?
The media.
Start with me?
No, start with James.
I'll start with me.
Yes.
If you're gonna, I'm at Twitter, James K. Dumont, and I have an open Facebook page. I have a little fan
very
page,
rare.
but I really like, Chickless has a fan page, like
Yes, he does.
not a fan page, but I really like it's open. So I'm on Facebook.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marielou Mandl, which is MarielouMandl. And also please check out my new show, Roommate Horror Story, which is inspired by American Horror Story. Put it out tonight. Hope you guys like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Pegah Rad. And also, I do the Forever After show on Tuesdays.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at You Can Call Me Skiff. So from everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV studios, we want to thank James for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having
you.
me. Glad to be here. That's
And
awesome.
you guys for tuning in. So we'll see you all next week.
You've been buzzed.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.